Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to LP Tremors, where we talk all things final and horror. Joined again by once again Davy Gallagher. What's up, brother?
Nothing shaking but leaves on the trees. How about you?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, the curly-headed fuck could not make it. No,
I heard
Ryan's
he's
gonna
in
be
cryostasis.
yeah, yeah, or yeah,
He's been
cryostasis. Yeah,
cryogenic. Yeah, he's been cryogenically frozen, and he won't be back on the show for another 400 years, or the
yeah,
next episode, whichever comes first.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Yep, sounds about right. But yeah, so we
Hmm.
are reviewing. This is the 10th episode of what will be, or what soon will be, a full franchise series review of Friday the 13th, going from the original 1980 all the way to 2009's remake. This episode, since it's episode 10, we have Jason X coming out in 2001, directed by Jim Isaac. And yeah, it's a doozy. It's something. Davey, want to kick it off?
Yeah, so we normally don't do a plot synopsis because there's three of us. We don't want to sit here all night. But I'm
Right.
going to do a really detailed, perfect plot synopsis. You ready?
Let's see it.
It's aliens with Jason.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. That is
Yeah.
that is the plot synopsis of the film.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. No, I saw this in the cinema, 2002. So I would have been 16, 17, depending on what part of the year it was.
Right.
And even then, thought it was batshit insane. Like, wait a minute. Okay, I can handle hell. I can handle Manhattan. Jason's in space. 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 I love this because as I've said from day one on this series, if you can't beat something original, do something completely batshit insane, and that's
Might
exactly
as
what
well.
this film does.
Absolutely does.
So we get, I mean, you don't get any pickup from the last film. In the line of films, the last thing we saw was Jason getting dragged to hell by Freddy Krueger.
Yep.
There's no
Yes, sir.
resolution to that because they knew that was still to come out, so they just ignore that completely and act as if Jason was just randomly caught at another
Yeah.
point. So it's almost like this is a parallel universe or something, where it's
Right.
so. By 2008, there's now a research facility at Camp Crystal Lake,
Yes, sir.
and
Why not, right?
they kidnap Jason, easily
Yeah.
done, and
Why not?
they are studying him because he's not just got that horror movie ability to come back from the dead. It's actually a regenerative thing. He's like Wolverine from the X-Men.
Pretty much.
So they want to harness that and I don't know, sell it to Rupert Murdoch or something.
Right.
But the project's getting taken over by David Cronenberg.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing in this movie, but he's here. David Cronenberg comes in for a hot minute and says, "We're taking over this place.
Yep.
He's my problem now." And then they say, "There's no issue here. Jason's, he's not going to be able to escape. He's already escaped when they're having this conversation. He's already done it. Not
Yep.
only does it not take that long, he's already escaped by the time
Right.
they're going, don't worry, he can't escape." Jason's on the loose. So we get the Ripley like thing of the cryo chamber, where that will give us a chance to do a time jump.
Yeah.
So massacre, but Jason and our heroine,
Mm-hmm.
Rowley is our name.
Rowan. Yeah.
Rowan.
Rowan.
Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean. She is our lead, and I like her. I like her. I think she's pretty cool.
She is.
She gets frozen as well, and taken to the future of space. And in the far-flung future, 400 years in the future, Earth is a desolate planet, can't sustain life. So Jason gets picked up and she gets picked up because they don't know what they've got and they think it may be, valuable.
Right.
So they get taken away essentially by scientists, but they're almost like space pirates at the same time because the main guy is more worried about how much things are worth. And then Jason gets out, massacres. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it. There's not really anything to the next half of the movie.
No.
It's just Jason.
Just Jason
Jason
doing
is the
what Jason
xenomorph.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason
Jason
is the
doing what Jason
xenomorph going
does in
around.
space.
Yep. And then when they think they've got him, we get Uber Jason, which is when he turns into, depending on whether you like it or not, either the coolest looking thing or the most plastic fake looking thing that's been in the franchise ever. The
Right.
big hulking Jason with the plastic looking metal mask. But great red eyes. The eyes are cool.
The eyes are cool, yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
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 So and then and basically the resolution to it is pretty much the same as Aliens as well. Like as all Alien films, where they just blow Jason into
Just
space,
blow Jason away, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and get. So it is Aliens. There's not much to review in terms of plot here at all.
No.
So it's just more fun to just look at different bits. Some of the kills are fantastic. I mean, the iconic one is the head in the what's the stuff? The cryogenic freeze.
freezing ice. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
What's
the really cold shit. Right?
real cold shit.
Jason wakes up and instead of going like, "Oh Jesus, where am I?" Like the girl did, like, "Oh my head, what's going?" Jason just gets up and goes, "Oh, a person, kill."
Yep.
So he doesn't care that he's in the future. He probably doesn't even know. So he just grabs her, smashes her head into the thing. It freezes in 2 seconds. He lifts it out. That's not enough. She's already dead. So he takes it and smashes it on the counter, and we just see icy bloods just flying everywhere. It's gory as hell, and I love it to bits. I love it. It's one of the best kills in the whole series. We get some of the worst casting in the series because they give us so many. Like everybody in this cast is like a Canadian TV actor, so they want to give you the trope of the teens, but also how do you do that in space in the future? So this should be a team of badass space marines, but instead they're a bunch of horny teenagers because it's a Friday movie.
Why not? Yeah.
So they're for some reason they're students of this professor. So everybody here is about 20 years old, supposed to be a bit younger, and horny as hell. They're all, even when they know Jason's on the rampage, they are going at it like rabbits. Even the professor himself is going at it. In fact, he's getting one of the girls. He's giving her pass marks for the course because she comes in and gives him nipple torture. And says, "Oh, you're a bad boy. You're bad." She's, "Whoa, what am I watching? This is fucking mental." Jason is unstoppable in this, and I kind of love that. They don't even bother to do the, only a Voorhees can kill a Voorhees. They don't try and come up with some smart way to kill him. It's just, nice. You can't. Don't bother trying, or
Right.
There's no way. So it just keeps coming and coming and coming and coming, no matter what they do. So Jason is a force of nature in this. Kane Hodder is wonderfully menacing, and he looks so massive in some of the corridors. The way they shoot it. The film in general looks very 2002 though in places. It looks like an episode of the X-Files at points. Even though this is a higher budget than any of the previous films, it looks cheaper than some of them because they've had to spend it all on sci-fi sets and things that go bloop 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 bloop, spaceships, CGI, which blame me, some of the CGI in this, even for 2002. But when they're in the holodeck thing, and they're destroying monsters in it. It's like, oh my god, this is worse than the Mummy Returns when the Scorpion King turns up. Awful CG. awful CG, but overall, the look of it's okay. I love the score. Henry
Yeah,
Manfredini comes back again. I mean, that's him done 10, and he's done 10 completely different styles of music. Brilliant score. But every single person in it has that thing that Scream started it,
right.
where everybody has to be a smart arse and, almost like they know they're in a movie. So you start to get everybody being a bit douchey. So even when they know that they're in massive danger, nobody's taking it too seriously.
No,
So
no.
there's a kill where a guy gets put onto a massive screw, and Jason watches quite
Corkscrew.
quite excited as the guy goes round and round and round, and comes through. And when the head of the Space Marines says, or the grunts as they're called, says, "How is he?" She says, "You could say he's screwed." It's like, oh, for fuck's sake! It's like, Jesus Christ! You know that all your friends are being massacred, and you're like, "Hey, listen to this. I've got a good one here. I've got a good one. He's screwed."
The
Fucking hell!
dialogue, man. The dialogue
Yeah, gee.
is
Some of the dialogues just unreal. I mean, when the head himself, played by Peter Mensa, who I like as an actor,
yeah,
although he is just playing he's playing the badass space marine character, and there always has to be one badass one. He's just playing that, and he
right.
gets Jason gets something and just takes him from behind and comes out the front of him and he goes, "It's going to take more than that. It's going to take more than that to kill me." And then Jason does it again on the other side of him, and he goes, "That'll do it." What kind of dialogue is it? So they are clearly
Amazing.
going for comedy this time. They are clearly just saying, "Fuck it, it's in space, man. We can't do this seriously. We have to rip the piss because the critics will if we take it seriously. So we better rip the piss first." There's some annoying characters. There's
Yeah.
one who I think is a direct parody of Veronica Cartwright from Alien, because all she does is sit there and go. So it's great for that. They all get their comeuppance.
Yep.
A few reservations. The professor, who's set up as the kind of bad guy of the piece, because he's the one that's responsible for Jason being there.
Yeah.
We don't see his death. That happens off
Off
screen.
screen. Yep. You hear the
Yeah,
scream, but you don't hear the
yeah. That's a bit of a disappointment. Would have been nice
hey guys, it's
for him to
okay. He's
go out
just
there.
looking for his machete.
Oh gosh, yeah. So he's an idiot. Yeah, I mean, there really is so little to say about the film's plot, so we really just have to go beat the end of those kind of silly moments like that. The part where I think the main Rowan is quite good at playing the "you people better believe me," because shit's going to go down and nobody's believing her. But they don't do much with that either. They
No.
could have let that go for a little longer, where some of them have disappeared, but she's like, "You have to believe me. This is Jason. He's doing it." They should have done something like that,
Yeah.
and nobody believes her.
Right.
But no, they all instantly know it's Jason because they do. So, yeah. So it's not witty. It's not clever. It's not
No.
smart, but it's fun and it's funny, and it knows that it's ridiculous, and it just decides, "Oh, fuck it, fuck it. This is." I mean, it's even called Jason X, even though it should be called Jason 10. I mean, why is it called X? You know, I mean, it's a Roman numeral. It just means 10. It doesn't mean X. So it should be
Right.
called Jason 10. But even
Or
there,
honestly,
they're like,
just
"Oh, fuck it."
Jason. Or Jason takes
Yeah,
space. Jason takes a
yeah.
rocket ship.
Fucking Jason, yeah,
Anything.
Jason up and away, anything like. But yeah, Jason X, which was the name that people were given the new Jason at the time. The Mecha Jason, if you like. But
Right.
then it became Uber Jason, which I guess now would mean that he does kind of taxi rides for people. Uber Jason, you
Right.
wouldn't want
Right.
him giving you an Uber, but Yeah, I think this is a pretty strong movie in terms of Friday night entertainment. Like if you just got some beers, because this is fun stuff. It's pure action
Yes.
schlock. It's horror
Yes.
schlock. There's no good acting in it apart from Rowan and Peter Mensa.
Yep.
The android lady's terrible. She's doing that, and I don't think it even come out yet. But she's like Mila Jovovich in the Resident Evils, and she's doing all the flippy shit and fucking guns going. You know,
Right.
she's terrible. She's an awful actress. She's playing an android, so yeah, we've got an Ash character here too. By the way, we've got an android, or Bishop, but yeah, so she's terrible. But the interesting thing is, I don't know if you remember the TV show Andromeda, sci-fi show from the early 2000s.
Can't say I have.
Yeah, it was reasonably big. It was like Farscape, one of those kind of shows. And Andromeda, the two lead actors in it were Rowan and the android lady.
Oh.
Both
Oh.
of them.
Okay.
So they literally just picked the two main cast members and
Oh,
said, "We'll
nice.
just put them in Jason." So it's
Okay.
so weird. Yeah, it would be like taking just the two guys from Supernatural and putting them in a horror movie, and it's not Supernatural or something. So weird. So weird. Yeah, just a bizarre choice to have the two members of an already existing sci-fi property that was still in the middle of its run at the time.
Right.
Apart from that, like it's a cast of absolute nobodies. There's not I don't know. I still don't know how David Cronenberg's in this. I don't know the
I don't
story. I
know.
don't know how you get involved. But for some reason, David Cronenberg is in this for a few minutes at the
Yeah.
start, and that makes me happy just to see Cronenberg. I kind of wish he'd done a bit more, but he was film. He would have been making Spider back then, so yeah, I guess he was a bit busy.
2000. Yeah. Yeah.
Overall thoughts, so yeah, it's bonkers. It's absolutely
Bonkers.
insane. And
Right.
what I like about it is you don't need to know anything really, just the basics of Jason. That's it.
No.
You can watch this completely independent of every other movie. It's
Yeah.
almost like a reimagined Jason thing.
Pretty much.
There's barely any relation to the originals at all. I mean, they say Crystal Lake when he sees when they program the place to look like the holodeck to look like what he'd want to see. It looks a bit like his cabin that he had in number two, but not really. It's much nicer than that because it's not like a shack.
Right.
But it's certainly not the Voorhees mansion that we saw in one of the later films. So it's like, what the heck? Like, they can never make their mind up on where the bloody Voorheeses lived.
Right.
So yeah, it's as if they just said, which I know is true. Sean Cunningham was worried that if the Freddy versus Jason took much longer, people wouldn't remember Jason.
Right.
So they just decided we better do a Jason movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people won't care. So this was just a fuck it, make anything you want, just as long as it's got Jason in it and his name's in the title. That's what we need because Freddy versus Jason's still getting delayed. We can't get a deal done with New Line to finish it. So just put another Jason out there, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Put him in the Wild West. We don't give a fuck. Have him fighting dinosaurs. Put him in fucking Police Academy. It doesn't matter. Just Jason versus Jaws. That would make sense with the water thing, actually, now I come to think of it. That'd be an interesting movie. I might pitch that to Universal myself. But, yeah, bonkers. So nobody on this gave a shit. It was purely a holding pattern so they could get Freddy versus Jason done the next year. So it was, for that, I like it. I think it succeeds by just... Because nobody gave too much of a shit, nobody takes it seriously, and because they don't take it seriously, they just let themselves do what they want. So they're not too worried about the future because somebody else is doing that. So they just do this crazy shit that's mental. Yeah. I don't think we can stress that enough, how fucking weird this movie is.
Oh, yeah.
That it ignores all the previous films and it doesn't set up... any more that come after this. The next time we see Jason, it's not 400 years in the future. So, I think this film just takes place in a completely different reality or something. Because you just can't have this in the Friday universe. It just doesn't work. You know,
Right. Right.
we've come a very long way from those first couple of movies that were
Oh yeah.
really
Oh yeah.
grimy and dirty and homespun horror, and now we're off out in space, alien resurrection style with an android, and fucking yeah, nuts, absolutely nuts. I still think it's tremendous fun, but you need to be in the mood for it. And if you don't like good bad movies, you probably won't like it as much actually.
Agreed.
So I think you need to be someone who appreciates a good schlocky horror picture show.
Yes.
So yeah, overall, I'll give it out of Jason X's. It would be I'll give it um, VII, which is 7. So yeah,
7.
7 out
That's
of
fair.
10. But get me in the right mood, have a few beers, maybe something else.
Yep.
That'll be a 10 out of 10, and I'll be laughing my ass off. But
Right.
yeah,
Right. Nice. Yeah. Well, yeah. Jason X. I mean, I guess if you put Leprechaun in space, I guess you can put Jason in space. Why not? Right. Jason X. I don't even know where to start with this movie. All right, so when my original thoughts with Jason X, when I first watched Jason X, and and I've told the story before. When I started watching the Friday 13th series long time ago, I decided to watch every single movie from the first one all the way to the end. When I got to Jason X for the first time, I could not fucking stand this movie. I hated this movie to death. Like I think I'm pretty sure actually the first time I watched this movie, I didn't even watch it all the way through. I think I'm pretty sure I didn't even get halfway, to be honest. I just turned it off because I just couldn't stand it. And then since then, I tried to give it more and more chances, more and more chances. I've tried so many times, I just could not get into it. Now, fast forward to maybe honestly like 6 months ago. Again, gave this movie a shot. I don't know if I had a different mindset or I was in a better mood or I don't know what the hell's maybe, but I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I fucking loved it. And I was just laughing my ass off of how bad this movie really is. And honestly, since then, and like I said, we're talking 6, 7 months ago. Since then, I've been watching this movie over and over again, and my opinion hasn't changed. I still love this movie. And in preparation for this discussion, I obviously popped this movie in a couple times. And again, I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie. I guess you can call it guilty pleasure, but I just love how bad this movie is. The dialogue is hysterical. It's you can't make this shit up. You can't.
yeah,
A lot of the dialogue throughout the entirety of this movie is just so friggin' laughable. Like you have the sex robot in this movie, which is just wow. You have like the stereotypical stoner douche kid on in space as well that gets
yeah.
his
What is
arm
he doing there?
off.
Yeah,
Yeah, he gets
yeah,
his arm cut off, and like he was a friggin' riot. You have the professor who's like the most unlikable douche in probably the most unlikable douche in this whole entire franchise
yeah.
because
Since number one with
he's literally yeah because
Steven number one.
I think it's worse. Like dude,
Mm.
nipple torture scene that oh, you pass. You can't make this up.
That's
You can't.
that seems so weird.
That's a scene you're just gonna have to experience because I can't. YouTube will probably take this shit down if I try to actually describe the scene.
Yeah, Yeah, they couldn't just have it that he slept with her. They specifically said, let's take this middle-aged guy, this little short, dumpy guy with balding, and
Yeah.
we'll get him to have his nipples tortured on
Why
camera.
not?
That'll be good entertainment for the kids.
Why not?
Just like the computer android lady. She's got a name, but it's just like KC for
It's
fucking
yeah. So just this
right.
long. Yeah.
C3PO, whatever the fuck she's called.
C three
Um,
PO. Yeah.
Optimus Prime. So she gets her tits out for no reason, just to show that she's made
Yeah.
herself some
Yeah.
fake nipples,
Yep. Yep.
and then
And
they
the
fall
nipples
off.
fall off, and you can't make it up. This is just a movie you have to experience for yourself.
This is a Jason movie. Nipples
Yes.
fall off.
Yes.
Nipples are tortured. There's a real nipple theme going on
There's a
here.
little bit of a nipple theme going on with this movie. Yeah.
Jason Nipples.
Nathan.
It's been called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason takes
Yeah.
nipples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nipples, ripples.
Yeah. So so yeah, that's kind of like the majority, or the premise of this entire movie. It's just these stupid little dialogues here and there. Probably some of the most abysmal acting you can ever imagine, but it's just so friggin' entertaining. Davey, you said it perfectly. Get a couple beers, get some of your buddies over, and just this is a riot. It's just a riot. You do have the character of Rowan, which is definitely she's probably the best actress in this entire movie, and she is probably she's one of the most likable girls in this whole franchise. If you were to ask me, I actually really like Rowan, and you can also see the actress that plays Rowan. You can actually see her in the Chucky franchise, in the the new Chucky series. She's in season 1 of that. She does an incredible job with that too. But yeah, she nails it with Rowan. Rowan is a great character to follow. Very interesting character, extremely likable, and yeah. So that's a little bit of Rowan. Very very likable character. Another character that kind of stood out to me that's again likable. Didn't play a huge role in this movie, but it's the character of Adrian, which is actually the girl that gets her head frozen in the ice or whatever the hell it is in Smash. She was very likable too. She wasn't in the movie for very long. I'm pretty sure that's the first kill in this movie, if we're not counting, the opening intro.
The past.
Yeah, the opening pass. Yeah. So she's pretty much the first one to get killed by Jason, and her kill is again, Davey, you mentioned it perfectly. Like this is probably one of the best kills in the franchise. It's awesome. The corkscrew kill is another one you mentioned. That kill is pretty badass. Just see the guy just going down and down on this gigantic corkscrew.
But what makes that for me is that Jason thinks it's cool because it goes to walk away and then he goes, "Shit, look at that! He's turning." Like Jason actually goes, "Oh, whoa, ooh, that's cool.
That's cool." Yeah.
He's like,
right.
I like that. That's
exactly.
I did that.
Yep. And then another kill that I have to mention is they kind of played it off as like a parody of the New Blood with the sleeping bag kills. They kind of manipulate Jason or trick Jason into this going in. It's really tough to explain, but they pretty much trick Jason or manipulate Jason into this world that Jason would know.
Version of
and they put in these two fake campers. And this is just comedy gold. These two girls. We love premarital sex and smoking pots. They take their tops off. They go into the sleeping bag.
Especially premarital sex. And then they both just go.
Yep. Jump into the sleeping bags, and it's literally plays out as a full-on parody of the sleeping bag kill. He grabs the girl in the sleeping bag, smashes her into the other girl, and then smashes her into the tree.
What's great is it doesn't show you him lifting her. It cuts away. Like Jason's almost like confused. Like, why are they not running away scared? And then it cuts to another scene, and then when we come back to Jason, he's already doing it, just going
right.
and he's wondering why they're just going, "Ow, ow, 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 oh, stop it, stop, ow, that really hurts."
Exactly.
Instead of
So
dying.
good. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah,
90,
and
that's nuts. I forgot how nuts that was.
it's so good.
Fucking,
It's so good.
it's like
And
I'll program in some characters from the 1970s. Then the two lassies just turn up with like the 70s haircut, and they're like, "Hi there, we love pot and premarital sex." Like,
can't
Jesus,
make it up, man.
somebody sat and wrote that.
Somebody you have to think somebody sat and wrote, "Oh, this is a good line. Just put that line in." Or
Somebody else said it's good shit, pal. Staying in there.
yep. Yep. And so I know I probably sound like a broken record. You can't take this movie seriously. You take it seriously for a second, you're going to have a bad time. And that's probably my biggest mistake when I first tried to watch this movie. That was probably my biggest mistake. And I don't know, just something clicked for me and I got it. This is just a freaking riot of a movie. It's abysmal. It's one of the worst movies you'll ever see, but god damn it, you're going to have a good time if you have that certain mindset and to keep in mind. So yeah, that's a little bit of the characters. Just abysmal acting, terrible dialogue. Rowan is honestly probably the only one that's really stands out as a really good character. Kane Hodder's performance as Jason, I think, is a gigantic step up from Jason Goes to Hell. And I mentioned when me and Ryan reviewed Takes Manhattan, I really admired Kane Hodder's performance as Jason, and I still think his performance was top notch on Manhattan. This one kind of is a good follow up to that. He brings, the energy and intimidation from Manhattan to space. So, but we already mentioned some of the kills, and this is honestly the last performance we're going to see Kane Hodder ever, unfortunately. But yeah, that's pretty much my overview thoughts of Jason X. I think this is again, I mentioned it, Davey mentioned it. You need to have that certain mindset in mind that just have fun with this movie, grab a few beers, get your buddies together, and just make fun of this movie. I promise you're going to have probably the best night of your life. You're just going to laugh your fucking ass off. So, my rating of Jason X, as far as a Friday the 13th movie goes, I probably have to give this. I feel comfortable giving this movie a 7. I'm going to 7 out of 10. It's definitely not my favorite. Still definitely not my favorite out of the Friday the 13th movie. It's probably somewhere in the middle if I was to rank all the movies together. But I do like Manhattan better. I don't know if I like Hell better.
I like Hell.
I might.
But I like Hell as an actual movie as well. Like, I don't think that's a bad movie. I like
No.
that as a horror movie. So I've almost got two kind of lists when it comes to
Yeah.
Friday. I've got like this is just bonkers, crazy, and that's a separate list. And then I've got the list where it's like, this is genuinely good stuff,
Right. Right. And
So.
and plus you have the Duke in Hell, so that I might like Hell just a little bit more. So I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10. If I was talking about movies, it's down in the dumps. It's 2 at best. But have that certain mindset.
It makes Event Horizon look epic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. Though that is our full review of Jason X. 7 out of 10 for myself, 7 out of 10 for Davey. We're in sync with this. Just have a good time with this movie. We mentioned this. We sound like a broken record, but just have that certain mindset in mind that this is a pile of donkey shit. This is a terrible movie, but god damn it, it's so hysterical.
Yeah, there you go. And it's 90 minutes. So what are you losing? I mean, 90
what
minutes.
What are you losing? Yeah.
You know, just and it gets in, it gets out. I mean, there's no real padding here. I mean, it's
No.
Jason has already been caught. You don't need to go through all that at the start. It starts with Jason being captured. We've got an action scene within the first 2 minutes,
Right.
and then transported into the future within the first 10 minutes. So you know, there's
Yeah.
no bullshitting around. It packs as much sci-fi horror schlock nonsense as they could get
Right.
into to this, and it feels of the time. I feel kind of
It
nostalgic for
does.
that period of the early two
The
thousands
early
and
2000s,
late
yeah.
nineties. Yeah, you know, the Event Horizon era and Sphere, and you know, with early CGI and things. And I feel
Oh yeah,
quite nostalgic for that.
the CGI in this movie is so atrocious. The
Yeah,
special effects is honestly, I mean, we're talking about all the movies in the 80s. Man, first movie to Manhattan. Those movies probably age better than this movie.
yeah,
Just
and
because of that
that's the case with a
CGI and
lot
those
of
effects, it's
yeah.
just so bad.
It's the case with a lot of CGI. It's dated so badly, but
Yeah,
that's why we've good CGI now because it took the mistakes to get to the good stuff eventually. But you
right.
know, this is full of some really bad explosions that don't look as if they're on the same like mat as the actual person, and you know, all sorts of
Right.
yeah,
Right.
practical. If you can, please, filmmakers, practical, please, please,
Practical, just a little
practical.
bit, please. Yeah. There
Yeah.
you go. That's our full review of Jason X. Stay tuned for more Friday the 13th talk. We're going to be going over Freddy versus Jason in probably in the next couple of weeks or so. So yeah, I'm stoked for that one. Davey, is there anything going on your camp, whether it's your channel or guesting, anything?
Yeah, I mean, today on my channel, I've uploaded reviews of two new albums. The new Uriah Heep,
Oh yeah,
which is a heap of goodness,
yeah.
and it's fantastic, and it has a patch, so
There you go.
automatic
Hell yeah.
winner there. Yeah,
Nice,
automatic
nice.
winner. Yeah, it's fantastic. And the new Steve Vai Gash, which is the heaviest hard rocking Steve album you've
I
heard
have to listen to
ever.
that. I have to go to that
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
it's only half an hour long. It's so good, so good. They make a great combo actually of just like great classic rock riffing brilliance. Because this one's an hour, so like 2 hours, and you can listen to both of them. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I've got my album series ongoing, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll be sometimes on Grant's like the 2022 best of video,
Right.
and I'll be back on Sea Tranquility in a couple of weeks. We're going to be looking at X and Peril, the Ty West movies from last year, the horror movies.
Nice.
And Contrarians, there'll be a couple of things out with me on there. But
Awesome.
apart from that, it's the usual. Crime Watch, or America's Most Wanted. I'm sure it'll pop up on there one day.
Probably, yeah. Nice. Yeah. So check all the description. You guys know the drill. Check the description down below. A bunch of channels will be linked, including Davy's channel. So just check the description below. Some good, really cool stuff there. And now
A
you
little
are
bit.
watching. Yeah, it's whatever. You are watching LP Tremors, and to tell you the truth, not a whole lot going on. I do have the Iron Maiden series I'm doing with my dear buddy Peter Jones. We just honestly just before filming this video, we just filmed Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, so that will be posted right around the time this will be posted. So be sure to check that out. We're going to be going over No Prayer for the Dying probably next Monday or so. So cool stuff going on between the Iron Maidens franchise and, of course, this little series we're doing right now, the Friday 13th series. We're going to be going over Freddy versus Jason in probably the next couple of weeks or so. So stay tuned if you are a Friday the 13th fan or an Iron Maiden fan. There you go.
Should be Eddie versus Jason then.
Yeah,
Could have
probably.
Eddie versus Jason.
Eddie, yeah.
Instead of Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, why not?
Eddie would win. Eddie would win.
Eddie would definitely win.
Wins. Yeah,
Eddie would. Always, oh my God. Are you serious? Oh yeah. Eddie would wipe the
He's
floor.
always like, yeah, there's always like the background of the album shows like Battlefield. He's always won. You know.
Oh yeah.
He's always last man standing.
No.
So,
oh yeah. Eddie's untouchable. But anyway, there you go. Stay tuned for more cool shit. And as always, stay metal, stay scared. Bye, guys.